We're recording.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the lead singer for Lipstick Generation.
And I'm Steve. I'm the bassist from Lipstick Generation.
Wait, who's that over there? We got someone else in the room. Who's that?
Oh, hey guys, what you doing in here? What's up? Hey, I'm George Kellas. I am a videographer, traveler, friend of Steve's and Greg's, and I am actually on my way to Dallas, Texas, where I'll be moving to do marketing work, among other things. And I have a little bit of background in radio and media, so it's great to be jumping on a mic again. Look forward to talking to you guys. What are we doing?
Were you doing like faux Foley where you like fumbled with your headphones and like acted like you were walking into the room and weren't already sitting down?
And now I'm playing it off.
Yeah, I'm gonna undermine the premise.
Yeah,
I'm gonna undermine it hard.
Great job, buddy. You just broke the illusion. You ruined the immersion that our listeners have. They're not gonna trust us anymore after this, Steve.
Listeners, why do you trust me?
Or they're gonna trust us more for valuing our honesty at all times.
We're really honest about what we're up to over here.
We will never lie to you because no band would ever lie to you.
Hey Greg, remember that time you did an entire episode of lies about the Smashing Pumpkins?
Right. So speaking of bands that never lie to you, we're talking about a Kiss-related product today.
There's a lot of levels to that. Is there any member of Kiss who has not famously lied to the audience?
Bruce Kulick. He's a gentleman. He's a really nice fella with nothing really to critique about him. Just a nice, pleasant guy. But we're not talking about Bruce Kulick today. We are talking about the Peter Criss album, One for All, per request. I have received multiple emails, tweets, in-person requests saying I want there to be an episode where Steve listens to One for All.
Greg, why do so many people want me to listen to this clip art man-o-war looking thing?
I don't know.
Greg, what are we doing? Greg, what's happening?
I'm a big Peter Criss fan.
Yeah, you are.
Steve is not necessarily a Peter Criss fan. It wasn't
the worst of the 78 solo albums.
Excuse me, 78?
1978. Should we do the part of the panel where we go around and have everybody explain their history with Kiss? Because I don't think our audience knows George's history with this band.
Oh, can I start? Can I start?
Yeah, go for it.
So in business, you need to make things stomachable to people that don't want to digest a lot. So you keep it simple, stupid. KISS. Is that it? Did I get it right?
You know what? Close enough for rock and roll.
Close enough for rock and roll, which is never something that Kiss has accomplished.
Ooh. All right.
I actually don't get that.
I think that's a compliment. He's saying they're complex. They've got different levels of flavor.
I don't know. I'm just calling them failures across the board.
I mean, those
failure millionaires.
Those failure millionaires who we just saw in an arena on after 50 years of playing.
Right. What chumps.
Yeah.
Playing for 50 years.
Longevity.
Pshaw.
Yeah, tell it the Beatles.
Shaw. Yeah, like the Beatles accomplished everything they did in like 6 years.
Lennon's dead and he's still making more than me.
So, this is going to be not a normal panel ranking episode. This is going to be a reaction. We're just going to listen to the CD, and we're not going to play it on the podcast. You need to buy it and support the artist. So we'll tell you when to press play on your CD player so you can sync it up with us. But yeah, you ready to go into this, Steve?
All right. Yeah, let's do it. I'm hitting play on my VLC in 3, 2, 1, click. Oh, it's loading the disc.
There you go. Nice little bluesy intro.
I like it. Reminds me of barbecue.
Nice pitchiness there.
Okay, there's something up with that voice. Something up with the voice.
So he's going for like a Patience by Guns N' Roses thing, right?
So remember how you don't like slow ballads? Welcome to a CD full of it, buddy.
Oh, is that why everyone wants me to listen to this?
Probably.
Cool. Cool. Special thanks to my wife Gigi, all the fans capitalized, my mom and dad also capitalized, Bill Aucoin, Ed Mulville III, Jerry Nolan, Billy Gonzalez, Mike Angel McLaughlin, Tom Hodawana Perkins, Jocelyn Hermakaseska, Mark Newman, Joel Ace Jean and Paul, Vivian McLaughlin, and the McLaughlin panel, Duke Michalczek. P.S. God! Art direction, Peter Criss. Design, Peter Criss. Nice design, Pete.
Yeah, do you like that album cover with the Twin Towers and a plane flying by it?
Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
Look at that. It's a lot of these songs are about his response to 9/11. It says one for all. The alls are the Twin Towers.
Oh, they're the Twin Towers. I did not notice that.
There's a little plane carrying the Peter Criss banner.
Golly, that was a poor life choice, Pete.
That was a pretty... he's super proud that he did this album art himself.
In 2007.
Yep. You got those countries of the world around the banner, trying to unite the world with blues ballads.
Trying to unite the world with blues ballads. Wait, hold on. I need to boot up a web browser and do some quick research on this.
So, I haven't listened to this CD in a while because when I first heard it, the vocals really turned me off. Peter Criss is notorious for having pitch problems.
Yeah? Yeah, this is just sort of some, like, mediocre Bob Dylan shenanigans.
Yeah. So, but the trick is, like, he's always worked with good producers, so in the studio, he didn't sound pitchy. But this is self-produced.
Ooh.
And so without someone telling him, like, hey, you're hitting the wrong notes, he's just kind of hitting some wrong notes.
This is self-produced, you said?
Self-produced.
Okay. Huh.
And the thing is, it's unfortunate because I actually think, aside from the vocal performance, like, this is a really great album.
I was going to say, I have no complaints about anything else. But what stuck out from the first time you heard somebody start singing?
And the thing is, he's a great singer when, like, he has, like, someone to, like, guide him and tell him, like, hey, you missed that take. Because he's been notoriously called tone deaf. But he has, like, a really, like, rich, like, Rod Stewart whiskey kind of voice. Nice gravel to it. And so, like, you know, he's had legitimate hits where he was the lead singer. Beth, Hard Luck Woman. So, like, he has a good voice. It's just like someone needs to tell him, like, hey, man, maybe try that again.
Does he usually record solo? Or with the band?
Well...
He's the drummer for Kiss.
Yeah, this is the drummer for Kiss.
I mean,
but he also sings.
Yes.
Does he sing backup for Kiss, or is he the lead?
The Kiss is like the Beatles where they all sing lead.
Okay.
I mean, he's pretty infrequent, though.
Yeah, he gets like a song or two per album. But then, you know, he wasn't in the band at the time this album was released. But, like, I think, like, musically, this is great.
Yeah, like, listen to the little chorus in the background, and the little, like, the light hand claps back there.
Ooh. This,
Ugh.
And the thing, so
thank you.
So Peter's my favorite member of Kiss, from a musical perspective. I just love like the soul that he brings to the band, and like he just needed a producer. He needed someone to like tell him his vocal takes were not very good.
And that's where we come in.
Right. But like this sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that far off.
And like, so these are songs that, you know, he wrote with, you know, with his guitar player.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just doing a bunch of research on flags here. I was recently doing some research on the flags of Sudan and South Sudan, and I was noticing that what I thought was the flag of Sudan on here, and then I noticed the Israeli flag. So I'm just doing some research. They do not have either the Sudanese nor the South Sudanese flag. I guess no big deal there. But they do have both Israel and Palestine.
All right.
Well,
we can all be friends.
Well, yeah.
One for all.
Good.
I think,
good,
actually,
good for
Palestinian
Peter.
flag's upside down.
Look, you know, the fact that he put them both, that's impressive enough for me. Man, making clip art's hard, man.
Especially without a producer.
I'm actually really bummed about the vocals on this album, because, like, Like, this song is great. And the backing vocals are great here, that female vocal.
Now that I've seen it, I just can't unsee the upside down Palestinian flag.
Like the female vocalist is hitting all those notes.
I wonder how he decided which flags to include. Because there's like 190 countries in the world.
I don't know, pick the cool ones.
Pick the cool ones. Pick the cool ones, like the United States and Japan.
I mean, I would imagine that when picking, maybe he was avoiding, is North Korea on there?
I don't know.
Do they have a flag?
Oh, yeah, they totally do.
Does it have one of the Kim's face on it?
What's that one?
One of the Kardashians.
One of the Kardashians. Yeah, that's who leads their people, right? That's why their country's doing so bad, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't have the North Korean flag.
So maybe he's avoiding straight up dictatorships, which is weird that Israel's on there. Ooh, wait,
look, it's 2007 Israel. I feel like might have been a slightly different place. I really don't know.
Look, all right. So just for the listeners out there, I'm part Jewish. Second, you can criticize Israel without criticizing Jews as a thing.
Right. Caveat: criticism of Israel, the state, is not criticism of Jewish people.
Boy, have I been doing it wrong the whole time.
You
per se, it's not criticism of Jewish people. You can do it wrong.
Right, you definitely can.
If
you can definitely be you can definitely be an anti-Semitic asshole and be like, wipe out the Jews.
You can be like, hey, I'm a little bit worried that some of Israel's policies are bordering on, human rights violations, and maybe these need to be considered by the international community. Or you can be like, I'm sure glad all those Jews are in one place. One of those is bad.
What we are saying is that
South Korea's flag is on here, though.
It's impossible to be racist if someone was once racist to your people.
Wait a minute.
You can't. The Jews can't possibly do anything bad. The Israelis, they've been prejudiced against, so they can't be prejudiced.
Wait a minute.
I'm just gonna let Greg keep digging here because he's the one who's a quarter Jewish.
All right. First, clarify that, please. So you consider yourself ethnically Jewish? You're not a quarter religiously Jewish. That's not a thing.
I have an aunt that's Jewish. We celebrate Jewish holidays.
So
I consider myself. I honestly consider ethnic heritage to be bullshit in general, and that anyone who's like, man, I'm fucking Irish, isn't that great? Except for Phil Lynott, who is great. But if you're just one of those dudes who's so into your heritage, you had no control over that. I don't give a shit about your heritage. I give a shit about the person that you are and what things you take on yourself. So I consider myself, less of a Jew and more of a rocker. That's where I consider my heritage to be. The things I've taken on in life, as opposed to these people boned and now I guess I'm gonna act like this.
Yeah, I agree on the part of, valuing people's individual choices. But on the same hand, I would consider myself deeply entrenched in Greek ethnicity. And
which, that's cool for you to do. But for me, I don't care about it for me personally.
And you don't have to. You can't expect everybody to do it. But, being raised in a Greek family and having tons of Greek friends, and Greek Orthodoxy, similar to Judaism, was both an ethnicity and a religion. So,
yeah.
And a lot of Greek people, it's really
just before the song ends, can we comment on a song called Doesn't Get Better Than This as a commentary, as a response to 9/11?
Not all of them are about 9/11.
Oh, what?
I said a lot of them are about 9/11, not all of them.
How old is this album? What year?
2007.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of value in sort of remembering your heritage as a culture with its own artistic and literary and religious contributions to the human experience.
You know what I think it is, though?
Even from a total self-made libertarian perspective, which that's your major tendency, right, George?
Yeah, I tend to steer towards liberty and away from everything else.
The individualist, everybody should as much as possible make their own path and being able to make their own path, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, with the caveat being that you choose your path either way. that, you walk your path. It's not, here's a path and walk it,
Right. Well, I would say, like, because I'm reflecting upon it, I'm totally into absorbing culture, but I'm not into, I guess, pride of, like, my own heritage, which is probably just, like, my experience of, like, oh, I grew up in Cleveland. I want to disassociate myself with this shit as much as possible.
You mean with Cleveland?
Yeah.
Like, your
Fair
real
enough.
heritage is,
Michael Stanley Band and...
right, having sex in cars at John Bon Jovi concerts while drunk on shitty beer.
All right, I think Greek beats that.
Right. I don't know, man. Living on a Prayer's a bitchin' song.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a good Greek beer.
Right.
We're more wine people.
Oh, yeah. That's
Speaking of bitchin' songs, like the song we're listening to with that nice little Spanish guitar.
In the cello in the background.
Like, the thing is, like, the production of the CD is actually great, except for the vocal. And, like,
I mean, if you like really like good elevator music.
I do like really good... Dude, do you know how many Michael Bolton CDs I have? This is... Dude, you know this is right
Are you
up my
really
alley.
like gonna like pull the Michael Bolton is elevator music card after all that time you spent trying to convince me? Like, no, man, Michael Bolton's legit and he's like a real rocker and he's cool.
Yeah, and he also has amazing elevator music.
He writes bitchin' elevator music.
Steve, you're insulting his ethnicity. Michael Bolton is his ethnicity.
Right,
now.
that's where I come from, man. Like, long-haired rocker dudes who just do a bunch of ballads and sell out. Although, like, we're kind of going the opposite of that, where we're like, no, we're not doing the ballads anymore, because, Greg's voice isn't as good for that.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
You're gonna have to pass that album cover. I need to inspect.
Yeah, I just can't stop looking at flags. Also, is the production that good? Because these are some cheap-sounding string pads.
Okay, yeah, there are a couple things on here that you can tell they definitely did not record in studio.
Yeah, but I think, overall, like, it's very crisp, it's clear.
Yeah.
And it is like, I don't know, it makes me feel good. Not that note, though. And I feel so bad because Peter's my fucking dude. Like, I resonate with the music, the lyrics, and I think the melodies, if he sang the right notes, are actually quite good.
I feel like this is like actually the melodies are fairly decent, but this whole album's just sort of giving me a like, what if David Bowie got drunk and did a bunch of why am I spacing on his name? Bob Dylan covers, karaoke style,
At a bar at 1 a.m.
right? This is what would happen if we put up a mic next to drunken David Bowie at 1 a.m. R.I.P.
Steve, we're on track 2 right now, correct? Doesn't
3,
get better
I
than
think.
this?
3.
Well, I'm kind of concerned because now that we're past doesn't get better than this. We got a lot of other songs.
That is a really rough way
Yeah.
to start your album.
So we've gone through 3 songs. We're about to get to the 4th song.
That song wasn't bad. I think that was the best song we've listened to so far.
I don't
Pretty
know.
calm.
Those synth pads were not doing it for me.
All right.
I'm really bummed that I'm going to have to listen to the album a second time
we're
so I
on
can rank
our first cover.
it. Ooh.
Now this sounds like that Weather Channel music that I like.
Was this what you thought when we were listening to a Kiss-related album you were going to be getting?
I probably should have with Peter Criss. I was like,
Well, no,
what are
I
we
was
doing?
more
Like
asking George.
a bunch of jazz standards?
I couldn't name a Kiss song.
I want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Okay, yeah, I definitely know that one. They played that with a toothbrush. They had a commercial run like all throughout my childhood.
Yeah.
You could brush your teeth and it would play the song for exactly 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then your mom could never get you out of bed afterwards because you were hype.
So you were like, I want to brush my teeth all night and party every day. Wait, hold on.
You tricked me. I'm really digging the drums on this, though.
This sounds like some good lounge music.
Yeah. This is lounge music.
This is taking me back to my jazz days so hard. Like, the nostalgia is just, like, hitting me. I'm 17 years old, and I'm making decisions I regret at jazz camp.
Jazz camp. That's pretty cool. Jazz camp.
Man, jazz camp was fucking legit, man. That was... So, the hardest thing I've ever done musically was definitely when I was, my 3rd year at jazz camp, where they put me in the advanced group with all the college professors, which, like, I was a higher skill level than my peers, but definitely not good enough to be, like, hanging with those cats.
Yeah.
So it was 7
Also,
part.
definitely not good enough to be saying words like cats. Hanging with cats.
Hey, that's my specialty.
But like, dude, so it was 7-part dissonant jazz vocal harmonies with 8 people. So it's not like I could latch onto anyone else's note. It's just like, fucking know your part and memorize it, bitch.
That's fair.
And like, it's like, you don't have a root note to cling on to is what made it so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and like, we did it, but that was easily the most challenging thing I've done as a musician, was definitely like those arrangements. I still have the sheet music for it somewhere, because like, you know, I just did the film score, and that was the most time-consuming project I've done, and it was difficult, but like, that jazz camp was just like a lot of difficulty condensed into a really short amount of time. Versus that was, you know, I had more hours of difficulty with the score.
Right.
Now, what I'm wondering, listening to this, is would these tracks be better with no vocals? Because this would be a total...
Absolutely, this song. This is just like a fine...
Yeah, this is good.
Fine background lounge jazz thing. If that's... Like, if I'm in some, like, dark bar and this is playing quietly in the background without his vocals, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. This is fine.
You even tip the waiter after he pours you a drink. Tip the bartender.
The thing I...
That's the only thing he does as a vocalist. He's just, like, standing there quietly and, like, don't forget to tip your waiters, everybody. You've been a lovely audience.
It's just such a bummer because, like, you've heard other Peter Criss vocals. He's done a good job on pretty much everything else you've heard.
He's been fine.
Like, he hasn't been bad, at least.
Yeah.
He hasn't been Ace Frehley.
Yep.
And I mean, that's why the CD, like, breaks my heart in so many ways, because, like, it's so close to being really good. And, like, I understand, like, Kiss fans would still fucking hate it. Like, even if Peter gave a great vocal, they'd be like, oh, it's still bullshit.
Wait, we jumped straight from number 1 to number 5 in the Peter Criss discography?
Well, we haven't been doing all the solo albums of the members.
How could we possibly skip Cat number 1? Oh, now that I look at that album cover, I recognize what that album name is about. Oh.
How could you name it Cat 1? Wouldn't it make more sense to just name it Cat?
Actually, Cat 1's is actually respected by Kiss fans.
Oh, yeah?
Well, because it's a hard rock album, and Kiss fans are fucking nerds.
Right, he's like, let me remind you guys that I was the first Cat in Kiss.
Well, actually, they didn't have a second Cat man by that point. But he just sensed the future coming.
Oh, they hadn't had a second Cat yet?
Not yet, no.
Oh, right, 94.
So this song was going to be on Psycho Circus, potentially. This is what he submitted for the Psycho Circus sessions.
Huh.
A song called Hope.
What's the reception say on Wikipedia there? Do they have any? Nah.
Charted at 36 on the U.S. Billboard Independent Albums.
Never heard of that before.
That's because someone doesn't support independent music, you dick.
Oh.
I think this is a great song. I like the cheesy strings.
In his autobiography, Make Up to Break Up, My Life In and Out of Kiss, Criss mentioned that the song Space Ace was written about his Kiss bandmate Ace Frehley. Really? Really? The song Space Ace was about the spaceman from that band you're famous for being in? You might think it was a tribute, but it was really about Ace's betrayal of me.
Oh, so Peter has a reputation of being the complainer in Kiss.
Sure, yeah, all right. The whiny drummer. Oh, that's the worst.
The whiny, stupid Italian drummer.
The stupid Italian plumber? What?
Stupid Italian drummer like, hey
Mario?
guys, I have a huge penis, and also I want to complain about everything.
It's a Peter Criss.
How come you guys make more money than me just because I left for 15 years and did a bunch of drugs and fucked up our shows and quit on bad terms? How come you guys are making more money than me when I rejoined?
Yeah, he only makes like 65 cents on the dollar. For every dollar that a Kiss member makes.
Yeah, there's a lot of discrimination in the Kiss Army. Catman,
George, I want to warn you that we're all dudes right now, and like talking on mic about the wage gap is some very dubious territory. Maybe tread lightly.
Catmen, on average, make 80 cents for every dollar that every Star Child makes. Now, there's a lot of different factors to consider.
There's personal choices involved.
Yeah, there's also, catmen typically go down different career paths, like heroin.
Catmen tend to like give up their careers early on to pursue their, heroin
careers.
Right, so there's a lot of factors you have to look into.
Heroin addicts make 4 cents on the dollar.
Doing what?
Collecting money on the streets for every dollar that a homeless person makes.
Oh.
When somebody's seething over and there's needles next to him, you don't want to leave them money. No offense if you have heroin-addicted family members.
All right, so this is basically the Peter Criss version of We Are One, the Psycho Circus song.
Okay.
Like, kind of the same thing lyrically. I think this is a better song, but once again, let down by the vocal. But it's like, hey, fans, I see you in the crowd. That's cool. Thanks for giving me money.
Maybe you'll attend again.
Was that first lyric, it's 3 a.m.?
Let me check. I've got the lyric book right here.
Ooh, that is always cool. I don't buy a lot of albums, but, a CD coming with a song list
You're on
and
the
lyrics.
young end of millennials, so you don't buy shit.
Ooh, harsh.
That is a good album. That is a band that I know.
Right.
And that I still continue to listen to.
That's why I bring up, okay, so George is shoulder surfing while I have the computer up, and I have pulled up the Wikipedia page for Mindless Self Indulgence's If album to double check, because if that lyric was, it's 3 a.m. in the same melody and lyrics, is the first line of that song, it's 3 a.m.?
It's 3 o'clock and I can't get to sleep.
Okay, so not quite exactly the same as, it's 3 a.m., she won't put out, let's go make out with her friends. Make out with her friends.
What song is that?
It's Issues by Mindless Self Indulgence.
Oh, I don't know that song. What do I know on this album? Never mind, I'm going to go back to Peter. Try to give him the time of day.
What is this audience noise about?
That is the stock audience noise in Logic.
Right.
You recognize it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the stock audience noise everybody uses.
Yeah. But so the Peter Criss album came out a year earlier, so it's distinctly possible that Mindless Self Indulgence was listening to this song like, what if this song was about being really horny, though?
So really, they just like, what if the song was more like an actual Kiss song?
What if the song was more like a Kiss song with just like a dude named Urine screaming?
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by this being legitimately awesome.
The song.
Yes. Like, I love the arrangements, and like, I understand, they're not real strings, so it depends on whether or not that takes you out of it.
It does.
It's not doing it for Steve.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I was kind of cruising there for a minute. Like, I'm tapping my toe a little bit.
I was distracted by just like the weird soloing over the crowd noise.
I think it's fun, because it's
It's
kind of reminding me of
2007.
like a little bit of like A Day in the Life by the Beatles. I mean, you can obviously hear a lot of Beatles influence on this. Like, you've got Beatles, you've got soul, you've got R&B, you got blues, Steve's favorite genre of music.
Yeah, I love songs that only have 3 chords. They're my favorite.
All right. Oh, so next up, this song, actually, most Kiss fans say this is the best song on the album. People say this one has a good vocal. I still think the vocal's a little bit rough, but it's, I'd say, top 2 on the album vocally.
You mean Send in the Clowns?
Yes.
The cover?
Yes.
This sounds like real strings. Cello?
Maybe.
I think it's too high for cello. I mean, I think cellos can hit that note, but they generally don't.
Once again, bringing me back to my jazz days. Nostalgia.
My eyes just keep drifting over to my Winamp where there's songs I would rather be listening to.
Yes, but that's not the point.
I think the listeners of our podcast just don't like you.
They don't want me to like. They don't want us to suddenly pivot over to Millencolin halfway through. Why don't you guys like Scandinavian punk?
Well, this is a commentary episode. We got to make it easy for the people to listen along with us.
That's true.
So if they have the CD, they can just press play and listen. You don't want to like make them jump over to something else they might not have prepared.
Yeah, but like,
don't be rude, Steve.
it's a mashup.
Expect our audience.
A mashup of that Midnight Song and Men at Work, or that M83
Steve,
Midnight City.
we have a whole 5 people that listen to the show. We should respect them, all right? We have more than that came up to me at Rockin' Pod. That's so weird.
That's cool.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, I listen to your podcast. Like, you do? Because, like, I get radio silence on comments and reviews, and then I just find a whole bunch of people who say, yeah, I listen to your show. Like, thanks for letting me know now, I guess.
Yeah, so please, like, leave comments and validate us.
Yeah.
We have self-esteem issues. Why do you think we play cock rock?
Right?
Like, comment, subscribe.
What it is like, I had a really traumatic childhood, and I'm trying to justify that in the existence of my life canon by being successful in some other field to justify my hardship. Because otherwise, then the hardship happened for no reason, and life is just terrible and miserable. So please like and subscribe.
Nihilism's so sweet.
That rant, like, it might have sounded like jokes, but it stopped being jokes very quickly.
And over this beautiful song.
This isn't actually a bad take on it.
Yeah. I mean, look, like, Peter is a good singer. He just needs direction. Like, he just needs someone watching over him to make sure he's hitting the right notes. He just happened to nail this take without someone watching over him. And in fairness, most musicians working without a producer, like, they can sound kind of bad. You do need that extra pair of ears telling you, hey, work on this.
Hey, how about you sing it again and do the right notes this time?
Yeah, like you do for me, buddy.
Right. We kid, but we don't.
Hey, I've gotten better with my vocal takes, because there's no way we would have gotten those Game of Thrones songs so quickly if I hadn't just absolutely nailed the takes. Right. Like, we didn't have time for me to fuck up the vocals.
Right.
Which, actually, I'm really glad we did that, because I think that just made me step up my game.
Made you pause and think, like, oh, I should sing well.
I should sing well so I can go to bed, because I have work in a few hours.
I have to wake up for work, and my wife is angry.
Man, take a shower. You were at Steve's. He has bugs.
Amanda, if you listen to this, like,
yeah,
no,
she's
I don't.
She's going to start listening to 87 episodes in, or whatever this is.
That's what I figured she would do.
Yeah, like, hey, that Peter Criss album I never listened to, that's the episode I'm going to jump in on, in case Greg says something about Steve.
In case Greg says something about, her.
I mean, she's going to have to listen to several of his songs to get to this point.
Right.
Which is a big deterrent. I mean, if you're still here with us,
she can listen to the podcast without listening to any of the songs that we talk about in the podcast.
Right, because we're not going to have the CD playing in the background.
No, you guys got to sync it up yourself. We don't want to get content ID'd here.
Yes, you go buy the CD, support the official release, as Team 4-Star says.
Go stream it on Spotify or whatever. He doesn't need a full $10 from you.
Right.
That 5 cents. I'm generous. That almost an entire cent he would get from you streaming this entire album.
So if you want to really feel the vibe of this podcast, go back to the beginning and play the album from when the episode started.
That's why we set the countdown at the beginning, so that people could sync up.
So that everybody can be just like 2 seconds ahead of us.
Right.
And that'll be perfect, because they'll get the vibe. They'll understand
they'll get yeah. So like what we're listening to right now, like I would say there's not a bad song on the album, just a lot of bad vocal performances. Because I'm digging the guitar and the drums are great. So, I'm digging it. I'm having a great time.
Hey, my roommate just came by. Hey, Jeremy, you want to talk about a Peter Criss album halfway through listening to it with us?
Oh, man.
Yeah?
He did.
I wish I did.
I think that's a yes.
In case you didn't hear that on the mic, he said, I really wish I did.
That's the best joke that was made all podcast, and you're not on mic.
Oh.
All right, so this song lyrically, it's about, hey,
What's going on
Third
there?
time's the charm with marriage.
Oh yeah.
Falling all over again. I'm falling in love with you, baby, but this one's gonna be great.
So this is Peter Criss's I'll probably get divorced someday.
Well, no, this is Peter Criss is like, hey, this third marriage will be the one that works. So it's like, maybe a less self-aware I'll probably get divorced someday. I like how that song's been mentioned multiple times on the podcast.
Well, because your wife won't ever hear it, so we're fine.
I watched someone tag her this, like, do you know she's talking about that song? Like,
Hey, Amanda, after listening to us talk about that song, I don't have bugs at my house. Don't make Greg spray himself down or whatever when he gets home.
well, she's gonna spray me down with a hose because I, like, mentioned that the song exists. Which, like, we aren't recording. Haven't played in years. I wrote when I was a teenager. Anyway, yeah, it's another good song. Nice groove. I really like the guitar playing.
Yeah. Who played guitar on this?
Mike
bridge?
McLaughlin, I think.
Okay. Yep, Mike McLaughlin. McLaughlin or McLaughlin?
McLaughlin. McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
He's a funny guy.
McLaughlin. McLaughs a lot.
I just heard McLaughlin, and I was thinking like a McDonald's branded Glock pistol.
But
Don't make me get my McGlock.
so this right here just sounds great. This is legitimately great.
This isn't my genre, but yeah.
It's fine, yeah.
Like I could be doing some classic iTunes DJing at some old people party and just throw this on, and they'd be like, "What's this, son? What are you playing?"
Yeah, I think out of all
Greg,
the
back in your metal club days, is this the sort of stuff you played?
no, I did not play this in the Metal Club days. I did play some troll music. Like there was have you heard the Stars on 45 like Beatles medley? It's like a 15-minute medley of Beatles songs to a disco beat.
Ooh, nice.
And so I played it at Billy's club, and Billy, like, about five or 6 minutes into the song, he comes out of the kitchen like, what the fuck is this bullshit? This is supposed to be a metal club, man. And then just, like, everyone in the bar just stood up for me like, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, me too. Yeah, let it finish. I like the Beatles. And, like, every single person in the bar said they were fine with this. Like, fuck all of you. And then he went back in the kitchen. It was pretty great.
I feel like there are so many more troll options that you know now that you could have played there. Like, how would the Least Wanted music have gone over at that club?
It would have gone terribly. I mean, I think I played some Jim Steinman unreleased Batman the Musical tracks.
Nice.
I think I also played the Yu Yu Hakusho theme song.
Yeah.
That was a good. I still go back and listen to that.
Dude,
That was
that's
a really
got a
good
killer
theme song.
bass line. That bass line's fucking sick. Like, I know that no one listening to this podcast is going to check it out because they're going to think I'm full of shit. But, you know, what else is new? But I will fully recommend anyone who has even the slightest appreciation of bass playing, check out the Yu Yu Hakusho theme song.
Look, action anime tends to have, like, badass opening themes.
Well, it's more like a city pop kind of funk thing.
Oh, yeah?
But still, that genre also has bitchin' bass lines.
Yeah?
We'll have to review that on our next podcast.
Yeah.
Anime intros. Naruto anime intros ranked.
There's a lot. I'm not doing that.
I bet that's already out there. I bet that's out there.
It is out there, I'm sure. I mean, there are some great ones, don't get me wrong. Like, there are some amazing intro songs for Naruto. But, like, there's just so many.
So the real tragedy is, in my opinion, objectively the best anime opening theme song is the English translation of One Piece. Just because there's
it changes each episode to describe what happened.
Like there's all these
previously.
animes that go on for 300 episodes, and you jump into episode 250 and you have no idea what's going on. You jump into episode 250 of One Piece, the theme song explains everything you've missed.
So
you
here's
jump into
what?
episode 255, the theme song explains everything you missed since episode 250.
Here's the problem with that. One Piece has a shit story and it doesn't matter. Like, that's the thing is, like, it was like, oh, One Piece is so good, it's like Dragon Ball. But, like, what if Dragon Ball's story was shittier? And that's not saying much.
Yeah, but if I'm going to watch a single episode of either from somewhere in the middle, I'd rather the one that sort of gives me some sense of what's going on rather than, why are these two dudes yelling at each other for 20 minutes?
Yeah, but it's...
Are they going to fight or
Yeah, look, just
no?
like-
This is the good part.
But Dragon Ball is just a more interesting show.
Oh.
I don't know. Just One Piece is just not very good. I'm sure that all of our cock rock fans really give a shit about our opinions on One Piece. An anime so shitty, I don't care about it.
I mean, I watched a few episodes of One Piece and just said to myself, what the heck am I watching? It just didn't have it's like pirates, but it's not. I mean, you watch Naruto and you're like, man, I want to turn my pencil into a ninja kunai and stab one of my middle school friends with it.
The thing about Naruto, and I will say this, Naruto is the greatest fictional story ever told, but the fans of that show are freaking idiots and no one will believe you. You know how like a lot of people don't believe Kiss is a good band because a lot of Kiss fans are fucking idiots?
Right.
That's how Naruto is to anime. It's really Kiss fans, Naruto fans, they're the same thing. But there are some great Kiss fans, there are some great Naruto fans, and then there are a whole bunch of fuckers who give the art a bad name.
You know who, of course, has the best fans? The band that has
Ayn Rand?
The band with the best fans is, of course, Godsmack.
I mean, they're true metal. It's not true metal if it's not Godsmack.
You mispronounced it, Greg.
Godsmack!
There you go.
Beautiful.
I have a sneaking suspicion that Joe and Caleb won't listen to this episode, but like when they tell me that they're Godsmack fans, it's just like, yeah, I know. I could tell.
Other than Voodoo, I legitimately enjoy listening to Godsmack music. Like, they do a really good job.
Aren't they that I Stand Alone band?
Yeah.
It's too broy for me.
I mean, it is super broy, but they're very good.
I want to listen to something a little bit less broy, like, you know, Sammy Hagar.
I like some Sammy Hagar.
No, I like Sammy Hagar
Marching
too.
to Mars is a great album.
Sammy Hagar is great. The thing is, Sammy Hagar is one of the greatest musicians of all time. But David Lee Roth is the greatest frontman of all time, so he's just going to make Sammy look like shit because he's nuts to David Lee Roth. Yeah, so that was another good song. Actually, the vocal didn't seem that bad, but we were talking over it, so it might have actually been bad.
I mean, if we're not talking over it, we're not generating hashtag content.
I think the real issue there was that last song was just so calm.
It's called Whisper.
That we just had to talk all over it. Because we were
My
tired.
favorite part was when just like the bad thunder sound effects came in. He was like, I think I hear thunder.
Oh, is that here? Is it real?
Is this one another cover?
I believe so.
Because he's not listed as a writer. But Wikipedia also doesn't link it out to the page that's from.
And once again, another slow bluesy jam.
Excuse me. I'm falling asleep here.
I mean, you yawn in pretty much every episode we do.
I'm sorry, we talk for a long time about music that I'm not super into most of the time.
I mean, you yawn on episodes even where you like the band.
We
Like,
talk for a really long time, Greg. I don't know if you've listened to our
I
episodes.
mean, that's
but
fair.
they're
And also,
very long.
Machina 2 was a boring album, so I don't blame you for yawning.
I'm so sleepy. I drank less coffee than I meant to today.
You know what I would say about the song? I'd say the song is a shoegaze masterpiece.
It's just like, Greg, there's just like, that's not an even, like, what? Greg. Greg.
I think you just turned to Gavin there for
Greg.
a second. Oh. He sounds like good for like a second at a time, where he gets like really growly.
Yeah, like those lyrics are actually sounding pretty good, but then he gets clean again. It's like, oh wow, he's actually like he's selling this one. Like, oh no, never mind, he's not.
He just needed a producer, or just like a vocal coach on this album.
Or just like somebody in the room to give him honest feedback.
Yeah, and I feel.
Hey Pete, you suck.
And I feel like I would imagine that it was him and Mike recording most of this together, the two of them. And I think that Mike just didn't have the balls to tell him, like, hey man, your vocals are pitchy. If I just had to guess.
Maybe.
But once, I love this album. I love every song on it. I want this exact album. I want the masters from this album with Peter's vocals cut out, and I want Rod Stewart to sing it. Does that make me an asshole?
Maybe. But like on a scale of 1 to Gene Simmons' asshole, like a 6.
Or I want Peter to redo it and have like a producer there to, use auto-tune.
Ooh.
Auto-tune doesn't do what you want it to do.
Ugh.
If you get your pitch wrong, auto-tune just makes you sound...
Although, honestly, like, Robo Peter Criss on this album would be so incongruous. It might be kind of great for a song or two.
Yeah. You know what I want? I want this entire album covered by Steve.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I would get it done in about 5 minutes, so it would be a quick-ish thing at least.
They need to make more songs that only use the word hey for the lyrics.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Hey!
Da-da-da-da.
All right, we need to stop that before we get content ID'd, because
YouTube's really good at that.
I will not give Gary Glitter money. Man's in prison for a reason.
Wait, check out his Wikipedia. I don't know if he's out again. The continuing saga of Gary Glitter's prison history.
He might be rising through the ranks, joining a street gang. Thank you, prison system, for rehabilitating our criminals.
That's what, 2016 was his latest conviction? But we're on track 11 of 12?
Yeah. 2015, he was convicted of attempted rape, 4 counts of indecent assault, and 1 of having sex with a girl under age of 13. Sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2015.
That's a good start.
He began an appeal in May. Yeah, so, yeah. He got reconvicted in 2015. He's got another 16, so we'll revisit the saga of Gary Glitter, I guess, in 2031 or so.
When does the Lost Prophets guy get out? Maybe they can tour together.
Oh.
I love how they list his discography right after that. They should list his, like, crimeography next to it.
Right? Like,
Charges, misdemeanors, felonies.
The major categories on the Gary Glitter Wikipedia page are early life, career, concert tours and live performances, influence on other musicians, personal life, sex offenses, discography.
You know, in between your personal life and your discography.
His personal life is 4 paragraphs long, 2 of which are about 2 sentences.
Oh my god.
Sex offenses is about a page and a half in like full screen mode.
Apparently people come to Wikipedia to read. Well,
I mean, the thing is, he had a really huge musical influence. And he made some damn good tunes. It's just, he's a shitty dude.
Let's see. Who's the guy? The trick is, I think...
Ooh, it's getting like little Barry White in here. Shit, Peter. Putting me in the mood. Shit.
I think the trick is, like, Ian Watkins, that's the guy from Lost Prophets. Even once he gets out, I feel like the rest of the band pretty definitively said, well, that band's dead forever. And, like, if Ian tried to reform the band, I would hope that the rest of the band would have the good sense to sue him into oblivion and be like, nope, that band's dead. Side note. Fun bit of trivia about that particular band. All of their music videos are still on YouTube with comments disabled.
Ah.
So, if you're hanging out on YouTube watching this particular podcast, you need something to do, hop on over to any other Visible Noise Records video and just comment on the fact that, hey, Visible Noise Records, maybe you shouldn't be making money off this sex offender still and should pull those videos.
But, is that fair to the rest of the band?
I don't know if there is a really truly fair to the rest of the band.
Because,
as long as he doesn't get the money.
Because I feel bad for the other guys where that's their life's work that's ruined.
It's true, and I think, they're aware of this and they've commented on it.
I would say we're at the last song on the CD.
Finally. I mean...
How is it that every time we, just listen to an entire CD, we get really dark by the end?
Because I think you and I are ultimately very self-examining people. And so as we reflect inward, we look at the darkness of humanity. Like this song where it's talking about how Ace is a greedy, lying, selfish pig. Also, Ace, thanks for giving my buddies a gig. Thanks for hiring Phil, Ryan, and Jeremy after firing your band that had been with you for like 20 years. But hey, my buddies needed a gig, so thanks.
Watkins got 29 years. So he'll be into like 2045.
Possession of a mobile phone in prison?
Apparently.
Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Just like charging it in your cell? They give you a power outlet in your cell?
Alright, so this is the other song I think has a good vocal. It sounds kind of like a Pink Floyd song.
Yeah, I could see that. So the problem with like anybody making money off Lost Prophets is that I'm pretty sure the dude wrote the songs. All lyrics written by Ian Watkins, all music composed by the rest of the band. Right. So the problem is if anybody is making money off of this music, by definition, some amount of it needs to go to Watkins.
Just re-release the instrumentals.
In this situation, because, dude, you and I know so many working musicians, and know how hard it is to make money as a musician.
Yeah, it's true.
And, like, the thing is, the other guys had nothing to do with it. They rightly denounced him.
Right.
I feel like if you, as a fan of Lost Prophets, still want to enjoy their music, I am okay with that. And the same with, I enjoy Gary Glitter music, because I respect the work that his band did in creating a really distinct sound. He wrote some good songs, he was a good performer, and just a bad dude. But I can separate the art from the artist.
The problem is, like, if you can't separate the art from an artist without compensating the artist.
Right, I mean, look, I get my Gary Glitter CDs used.
Right,
so.
that which is fine. Like, you know, that's a good way to do it. If you really want to buy a used Lost Prophet CD, that's fine. But, like, you probably shouldn't stream their music because you are giving this dude money for work that he was doing that was enabling him to abuse children.
You're also giving the money to the other band members. And also, he's not going to see that money while he's in prison.
That also assumes that he wouldn't make money some other way. But the real issue at hand, click on YouTube real quick. It's the fact that this record label is called what? Visible
Noise Records.
And they made the comments invisible. Just open the comments back up and let the crowd decide what they think.
Let the people decide.
I mean, if there's a place that's, the bastion of civilized discourse, just the comments section.
Comments section on YouTube.
Yeah, you do kind of have to protect the other artists that are in their label. But hey, you screwed up making that guy a big part of your gig.
I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, they should also like denounce it. Like, it's the sort of thing. Like, I just feel like everybody involved should probably just pull everything. Like, just pull the plug from it. Say, we will not allow income from this project anymore.
I really believe that the art should... Look, I don't like their music. I think the music is shitty.
I like that Rooftops Liberation song. It's a really good song.
You should stream it.
Speaking of...
No!
By the way, I love this jam here.
Kind of like an outro?
Yeah.
Hey, boys. You finally listened to my song. Glad you did it on podcast. Hope you thought the vocals were okay.
I mean, look, Peter, I think, is a underrated drummer. I think he has, he's very limited in a technical standpoint, but, he does some very interesting stuff that's fun to listen to. It's a little bit off the wall, but, you groove to it.
Yeah. I have to say, if this album was instrumental, 0 complaints. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's it's not my genre, so I had to compensate a little bit for that, but...
But I would say, the writing is all very strong. It's good writing.
Okay.
It's good performances. It's just, he's playing the drums well, too. It's just he dropped the ball on the vocals.
He could just pop in a different singer in the studio booth and...
And it's so unfortunate because he's sung so well in the past. Where there was a time where he was the best singer in Kiss.
Huh.
And so now it's oh, man. Like that's why it hurts, because like I hear what this could have been.
Yeah, and you know all the old heads. You guys have heard enough old heads say, "Oh, back in my day, we didn't have auto-tune and this and that," and they actually sang the song and they were actually good at singing. And now it's like they got all this stuff to help them, and they lip sync or they use all these effects.
Paul Stanley. Sorry, something in my throat.
Yeah.
What were you saying about lip syncing?
You sounded like Paul Stanley there with your throat like that.
It's funny because Paul Stanley is lip syncing on his current tour.
So I think one band that you could never listen to one of their albums and make an episode like this is Mindless Self Indulgence, as we mentioned earlier. You'd have trouble talking over the music and commenting on it.
I mean, we didn't. I was the one who commented on the music the most. We didn't really comment on the music too much. You actually did a fair amount. Steve kind of avoided talking about it.
No, yeah, because like it's fine background music. I didn't want to spoil the experience of me talking about the music when we do the actual episode. Oh, hey, look, a Mindless Self Indulgence album.
Yes. Let's listen to them.
All right, so if starting now.
All right, so I guess split this into another episode.
Double episode, you guys.
So is this the start of the album?
It is, yes. You've listened to a little bit of MSI, right, Greg?
Yeah.
You're just sitting there in silent awe, huh?
No, I'm trying to.
Dude, I just remember being on the bus with my iPod headphones in, sitting completely silent, looking out the window, and just blasting this in my ears.
Basically, the reason I was completely
With your
silent.
hair?
The reason I was silent is because I was thinking, how am I going to split this into two episodes? Because we didn't really have like a clear ending there for the
It's
other
true,
one.
we didn't. Maybe it's just one really long episode with a secret second episode.
That's we didn't even tell them what Mindless Self Indulgence album it is.
I said it's if.
Let's do just like one or two mindless songs, and then wrap up the first episode, and this can just be cut. I don't think I want to do a full another episode of Mindless Self Indulgence. I'll be up all night.
All right, so how about we'll just make it just this song, and then we'll wrap up.
All right, fine.
And then we'll just bump Mindless Self Indulgence off podcast.
What song were we listening to so people know what to press play to?
Okay, we'll start over with the song that is most likely to annoy Greg. We're starting Mindless Self Indulgence, Mark David Chapman in 3, 2, 1, go.
I see why you picked this one.
It's that guy that you like, Greg.
I don't know this song.
It's the last song on If. I feel like, honestly, the humor in this song, Greg, is probably largely right up your alley, other than that it's a little bit anti-Beatles. Like, it's very much about, like, 2000s era scene kids being fundamentally interchangeable and the music industry being a giant joke. And, like, the fashion choices were really weird, and, like, that swoopy emo Hitler haircut thing was a poor choice. Maybe we should just murder everybody. What's it time for? Mark Chapman.
I mean, the song's fine. It's sort of interesting how, we're talking about dark art, and I would feel uncomfortable doing something like this outside of the context of snake vomit.
Right?
Like, if I were to make a song that was, like, had legitimate musical quality with that dark of a message, I think I would feel uncomfortable releasing it because I would want everyone to know that I was making a joke and not necessarily condoning that.
I feel like...
And this is clearly, obviously, with a tinge of humor.
Oh, yeah, MSI, like, their entire discography has, like, a huge grain of salt and a huge pile of irony.
But I guess what I'm saying...
There's still a couple spots where I'm like, maybe you shouldn't casually use the F word that much.
Right.
That's the thing, is it might be more of a parody of music today, where, especially in rap, there are 2 or 3 words that if you took them away from rappers, you just destroy their songs.
Yeah.
There would be half the lyrics. That's the thing with cursing in music. When I write rock music or band type music, it's like there's no reason to fill it with curses. But rap, that's the trap.
I mean,
if you fill it, if you rap and you rely too much on curses, a lot of the time they're not used in ways that represent actual words. They're used to be filler syllables in a sentence that half makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's a thing. I feel like. So I was hanging out with my 10-year-old nibblings, and one of them lives with his atheist father in New York, and the other one lives with his youth pastor parents in Chicago, and they're both 10, and we were talking about, like, cursing, and the one being raised by atheists is being taught that he can, he is allowed to curse as much as he wants.
Thanks,
once
atheist.
he's old enough to get himself to school in the morning without help from an adult.
All right, that sounds like some atheist Bible kind of
That
stuff.
kid's gonna be a hard and bad motherfucker.
It sounds pretty arbitrary, but, like,
He's walking to school at 11 and telling the mailman to have a nice day.
So when you get into school by himself, does taking the bus count?
Oh, yeah. It's just, like, getting out the door kind of thing.
Oh shoot! Then if by that standard, I could have been doing that shit in kindergarten, dropping f
He could have been
bombs.
cursing in
Or
kindergarten.
if he realizes he has free will, he could just start cursing.
But the point being that, like, he's being raised in a household where, like, cursing isn't necessarily an issue. So we were talking about, like, the nature of cursing with these kids. And sort of the thought was that, like, there's a couple of purposes that a curse can serve in a sentence. There is the idea of it might communicate an idea very well, which, for example, the untitled track on, I think, Life'll Kill Ya by Warren Zevon. There's one track that just isn't listed in the track listing on the back because it's him talking about going to the doctor, and the doctor just, like, very bluntly says to him, well, here's the problem, your shit's fucked up. And this, like, an acoustic-y, folky kind of musician who doesn't swear a lot, so suddenly has a song that's just harsh swearing all the time, talking about the medical issues that would go on to kill him 2 albums later, and his own just general fear of doctors and his own health decaying, like, communicates a lot of weight. Like, those swears really say something that cleaner language may not have.
Yeah, so it's like, reserve your swears for something big. Save
But
them.
then you also do have just aesthetic things. Like, you're talking about, George, you're talking about in some music, swearing being a linguistic rhythmic thing. There are times where it might just be the sort of thing that fits the tone of the song orally the best.
True, it could be used, stylistically or rhythmically to make the song better.
Right.
And if it's the best choice, then I can't argue with that. If that is the word that fit it best, you could end a sentence rhyming George with George and just keep doing the same thing where it's like, na 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 na, George, da da na 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 na, George, da da. And you could do that over and over and over again. And it almost doesn't matter what word you pick.
I remember in high school playing backyard wrestling, which had a remarkable amount of ICP in the soundtrack. And
Yeah, I remember that.
Backyard wrestling, kind of like backyard football?
No, did you miss the whole backyard wrestling trend? It was like amateur professional wrestling done in people's backyards with no safety standards and a lot more really stupid crap like hitting each other with fluorescent light bulbs.
No, I did that too.
Right, they made a video game of it. But, like, one of the ICP songs, I remember being very impressed that there's, like, a break in the middle of it where the lyrics are, ha, 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 fuck you. Which, like, is, in terms of, like, actual lyrics, is very dumb. But in terms of what they're attempting to convey with their message of, like, hey, we're, like, evil murder clowns, like, it has a nice flow to it, and it works well.
Yeah. Yeah, Mindless Self Indulgence uses that. I believe the song is Stupid MF is the title of the song.
Yep.
Where they're basically just screaming. And I like how they go from extreme rage and they bring it down to like a quiet tone and just go snap, snap, snap. They bring it back and forth. It's like getting punched in the face. And yeah.
I have no idea what
Is it simple enough for you to understand? Are you all still following me?
Is that what it is? I thought it was
simple enough for you. Does everybody understand? Are you all still following me?
I think so.
But he says it like...
Right, it's super fast and super high pitched.
So yeah, that was
That's why he
One
says
for
it like
All
that.
episode.
See,
So there we go,
that's the joke, Steve. Steve, that's the joke because you're not supposed to understand it.
Right.
So
Oh no, I get that.
now that oh man, I just got that one.
All right. Well, so Greg, where can they find us?
Yeah, they can find us at liftedgeneration.com. George, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm George Kellas. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Brief search, just George Kellas.
All right, well, hope you enjoyed that reaction episode, and we will do a ranking episode for this album at some point in the future, based upon scheduling. Bye.
Bye.